Let's get up to speed on what is happening with Section 230 right now. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Section 230, it is basically the platform versus publisher, standing for all online websites. Now, okay, apparently Facebook, Twitter, all your social media networks are supposed to be platforms. They are not supposed to take editorial license, therefore they're not liable to be sued if anything terrible or anything bad happens on their website. As we can patently see, Facebook, Twitter, most of the other, mainstream social media platforms tend to take, political license, as it were, to just willy-nilly yeet people from time and memoria and just fucking do whatever they see fit. Now, as Section 230 currently stands, as you can see there right at the top of the Politico article, which I don't tend to like to use because, well, it's just the Associated Press's autistic little brother, but Section 230 was drafted in 1996, and you guys remember all of those thriving social media companies in 1996? Yeah, exactly. It is outdated. Made this point a few different times that we need to update it, we need to reform it in order to make sure that platforms do in fact say platforms, that only illegal material gets removed. And getting rid of Section 230 might be a terrible thing, but at the same time, at this point, I would rather see it totally wholesale ripped up right from the fucking roots than just let it lie as it currently does, because right now, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, for whatever the fuck they're worth, can just go in and needlessly just get rid of people. And whenever asked about it, hey, do you guys have a conservative bias? No. Okay, what'd you get rid of? This conservative, that conservative, this other conservative. Oh, they violated our terms of service. Oh, really? Yeah, no, exactly. It's always just, yeah, we got rid of them because can't sue us, ha 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 ha. So the fact that Trump is making an ultimatum right now in regards to either repeal Section 230 or we don't get a national defense budget is hilarious and totally on track for something that Trump would do. So let's see what Cristiano Lima, sounds like it should be a Brazilian porn star name, but we'll see what he or she has listed out about this. President Donald Trump's years-long crusade against social media titans like Facebook and Twitter have turned into a concentrated attack on one previously obscure technology statute of the mid-1990s. No, it's only obscure to the people who want it to be obscure. Yeah, a fixation that's only escalating in the twilight of his presidency. Oh, really? Sometimes you just love confrontational articles, I suppose. Trump's latest gambit raised the stakes further, threatening to veto a must-pass defense spending bill. Oh, it's must-pass when it's something that involves invasions and other foreign conflicts, but when something, directly affected the election and wanting to take action on that, it's a small, little obscure piece of legislation. It's nothing quite as important as a drone striking kids in buildings, but I guess we can figure out where Politico's mind is on this one. If it didn't immediately revoke the 1996 law known as Section 230, which offers legal immunity to a wide range of online companies, you can see why he wants to get rid of that, because, I don't know, just tweeting out random things and then immediately having them fucking disputed, even when you post a family picture on Instagram, this actually happened, and then it was tagged with a voter election integrity flag on Instagram, a photo of him and his family. But his Tuesday night tweet was just a culmination of a series of efforts by the president to weaken protections for the tech platforms that fact-checked, filtered, or blocked some of his messages during the months before his defeat in the polls. Yeah, it must be fun to just, fuck you in the mouth. In the run-up to the election day, the White House pressed Republican Senate leaders to hold hearings on the statute and tasked at least 3 independent agencies with exploring ways to reinterpret or weaken it, including, I'm sure they didn't reference this, but Justice Clarence Thomas also wrote a rather good opinion piece on Section 230 and why it should be changed as well, but yeah, it doesn't fit your narrative now, does it? Trump has also pressured his political appointees at the agencies to aid his efforts and rescinded a renomination of a Republican on the Federal Communications Committee who had expressed skepticism about the push. I'm sure that's what it was, or is it just what you guys believe? On the top of making Section 230 a repeated refrain at his rallies, often without explaining what the term means. And I'm sure Politico is going to do a great job of that and just definitely not continue to smear everyone. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany told reporters Wednesday that the president is serious about addressing the statute, and a former Trump aide who remains close to the White House, I'm sure brace for impact, said he's insisting it now so he can claim some victory in the last days of his presidency. See, did you guys buckle up appropriately? This would be a huge win on something important to his base, the aide said, who will remain nameless and eventually come out as just a coffee delivery guy for the fucking Department of Homeland Security, who takes a paycheck from CNN. Definitely wasn't who Anonymous was, right? This latest attempt is falling flat, though. According to Politico, hold on. Top lawmakers on both parties said Wednesday that they have no intention of bowing to the last-minute demands to shoehorn a tech rollback into the defense bill. Well, guess what? Your fucking bill's not going to get passed then, fuckers. It's called the Big Ask, by the way, and it was something that Donald Trump kind of coined in his Art of the Deal book, which was a New York Times bestseller, which they've definitely tried to distance themselves from. You ask for a lot and you negotiate somewhere in the middle. Something that Democrats aren't necessarily familiar with, negotiations. Trump even drew criticism of some of Section 230's biggest critics on Capitol Hill, as well as activists who said Legal Shield protects too broad a range of illegal or harmful activities. Won't somebody please think of the children? This bitch I've never heard of in my life. It's frankly really embarrassing that Trump places his personal vendetta against Twitter above the safety and security of the United States of America. Fucking Shaklowski, go Bears, who has called for updating Section 230. He would be ashamed of himself. I'm sure she has a great record. Gretchen Peters, just a heinous name, executive director of the advocacy group, the Alliance of Counter Crime Online. I'm sure it is definitely 100% not just a front group for democratic ideas, said Trump's actions could set back bipartisan efforts to amend the law. Of course, and when you hear things like bipartisan effort, you can always know that it's a democratic effort with a bunch of rhino support. There is a lot of us who've been working on Section 230 reformed for years, and slamming something through at the end of the year defense bill is going to undo a lot of the work that has been done already. Fuck off, Peters. So like I've stated, Section 230 is not fit for current use. It didn't presage any of the rise of the social media empires, and the fact that they would have such an enormous and total hegemony on the discourse in the public square. I hate Twitter. I am thinking very, very hard about getting rid of it. I don't have a large following on there. There's a few people that I do enjoy, but for the most part, it is just a cesspit, and it totally just infiltrates any sort of intelligent conversation and puts their little fact checker right at the bottom. This claim about the election has been disputed. And you don't think that they'll be able to do that going forward if all of these evidentiary hearings fall on deaf ears. They will see, hey, this works. We're just going to go ahead and do that for everything going forward. So they're just going to go ahead and use AI to craft the world that they want to see. In 1996, could anybody have foreseen that kind of technology existing? No, exactly. Or in Facebook, where they just continue to yeet people left, right, and center, and also put those same kind of fact-checking things. Now, as much as I've also talked about mail-in balloting, if they allow this election result to stand, it's just going to be, oh, look at that, we had no evidence of fraud with widespread mail-in balloting, and guess what, it's just going to be Democrat after Democrat after Democrat after Democrat. Or actually, to be completely fair, whoever pays the most will just, win elections going forward, so we'll just become a oligarchic state, I suppose. Even up here in Canada, too, because we'll be able to cite the source. Oh, look at that. 360 million people got to vote. Oh, my God. There's no evidence there whatsoever that anything was wrong. Sure, we're just going to go ahead and go to widespread mail-in balloting because it is completely and utterly safe. So once you take pernicious action like this, like you do all these fact-checking things, you start yeeting people off the platforms, and you don't face any kind of backlash, guess what? That line just gets a little bit closer to where you're at. And it doesn't ever come back. That's why you have to fight it where it's at right now. So if we're not going to get any kind of sophisticated reform because all of these show trials that involved, the melting of Zuckerberg there, where he's starting to look more and more like just a skin suit over a robot, or a Jack Dorsey live documentation of the Rasputin beard, nothing's ever going to come out of those. So yeah, I'd be alright if they just got rid of Section 230. Just fucking blow it all up, and that's what he should do. That's what President Trump should do on his way out. If he is, in fact, on his way out and doesn't come back in 2024. Which, if this isn't successful in 2020, we're just going to see the exact repeat of this election in 2024. Because unpopular opinion, I actually think Biden probably is going to survive through 4 years, and he'd be stupid enough to run again when he's 80 fucking 2. I'd be down with that. Well, I lost my job, and doing this now, removing Section 230 would have a substantial consequence on, well, what I'm trying to do here. But at the same time, I can also, you know, find something better to do. Wouldn't be nearly as fun, but seeing all the politicos, just not like Politico the website, but all of those fucking verified blue check marks lose their mind because their platforms continue to get fucked over. That might be worth it, I suppose. But yeah, I hope Trump actually stands up to this shit. Don't sign that fucking defense bill. Get what you want on the way out. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.